following week happened to be my English birthday. And so I wanted to give myself a birthday present and I contact all the friends that I have in London, which actually is quite a lot. It's like, I'm going to invite them to my birthday night show. I'm going to rent a little theater in London and by golly, I'm going to have a show. And that's exactly what I did. I got there, I think on a Monday. I rented the theater by Tuesday. Again, Wednesday came along, no tickets sold for Sunday night, but by golly, it was going to be my birthday and people were going to buy tickets. And they did. I used that Shabbat. I went to 3 different synagogues, handed out my flyers, met this incredible woman named Deborah, who is amazing. She's a comedian. We met because someone in the synagogue took me over to her and said, you must meet each other because you're both comedians. And she is going to bring people to your show. I just know it, Bob. It was completely sold out. It was a tiny little theater in Camden. And it's run by 2 adorable ladies. And they gave us a great deal on the theater. And it was great. And my dear friend Rachel Krieger, who is probably the most famous Orthodox comedian in all of the UK, works all the time, was so kind and decided to run my tech for me because I couldn't find anyone else to run the tech. So thank you, Rachel. And she also drove me places while I was in England. And we'd been friends online before that, but we instantly bonded in person. And she made the suggestion at the time that if I wanted to, I could at least come to the Edinburgh Fringe because she had been doing it for I think 11, 12 years, something like that. And she had a room available in her beautiful apartment that she rents every summer for just the last week of the Fringe for that summer. And I thought, unless I get, stroke of luck, a place to perform, I'm not going to schlep all the way to Edinburgh because it's expensive and I don't even have the money for it. And how am I going to do it? And she said, well, suit yourself, whatever works for you. And I got to see her show at one of the pubs that she performs in London. She was amazing. By the way, there are about 9 pubs in London called Adam and Eve. Took an Uber across town, spent $35 to go to the wrong Adam and Eve. And she had performed in one that was clearly on the other side of town from the one that I went to. So I spent a fortune on cabs that night and I was very frustrated because I was super late because of that. So always check the address, not just the name of the pub. I felt my dad carrying me through all of these places. And there were things that happened every single day that I'm not going through that were just so miraculous. The people that I met on the train going from Manchester to London, the people who helped me with my bags when there was no elevator and it was too heavy for me to carry. And they just went, oh, I'll help you with that. And clearly could have taken advantage of me, but didn't. They were the opposite in being kind. Everywhere I went, I would say things like, oh my gosh, that must have been my dad. And people would put their hand on their heart or put their hand on my hand and say, I'm so sorry. And he's always with you. And I could just see in the glimmers of their eyes that my dad was always around. There's times in your life when you feel like you're just on an uphill battle. And wherever I went, whatever I was doing, it just was with so much ease. The whole trip, I felt guilty before I left. I kept thinking, well, the 30 days after a parent passes away, you're supposed to kind of be low key and you can't wear new clothing. There's certain things you can't learn from the Torah. You're not supposed to bathe for the first 7 days. You're supposed to mourn, right? Allow yourself to be sad. And I did. I cried every day, sometimes multiple times a day. But I also felt like this is what my dad wanted. And my dad was such a success junkie. He was like the best in his field in all of the state of Florida. And he passed legislation for dads who were divorced and cared about humanity. And I know that he loved this show. He only saw it, unfortunately, on tape, but he was so proud of me. And he would have wanted me to go. So I kept saying, thank you, thank you. I would say, thank you, Dad, all the time. And then sometimes when I said, thank you, Dad, I meant, thank you, God. And sometimes I meant both. The only reason I had a place to stay when I was in London was because of the same girl, her name is Martine, who is the friend of my friend Karen from high school, who set me up not just in Manchester, but also with my new friends in London. And I stayed with the same family for 1 week and do a show that following Sunday. It was on my birthday. It was one of the best birthdays I've ever had. Thank you.
How much more talent can one woman have? It's amazingly. All sorts of accents. She sings. You have an amazing voice and you're incredibly funny, but it was quite deep actually. It was everything.
Fantastic, really enjoyed it.
Absolutely incredible, really enjoyed it. I loved all the characters.
Surprisingly good voice and an amazing range.
Love the characters, love the passion, love the comedy. would definitely recommend. We'll be coming again.
An amazing voice. I think it was absolutely fabulous.
Liked all the characters, the combination of the screen and the comedy, the insights, and the beautiful singing voice.
I love the show because I love how you broke out into singing and you switched, and it was really fast paced, so I wasn't bored at all. That's it, it's brilliant.
There was a character for everybody to connect to. If you catch somebody at the right time, save loads of lives, so there is evidence of that already.